Convolution. By the definition, convolution of two functions f and g, we're going to use notation f convolution g equals to integral from 0 to t f of v g of t minus v dv. I'll run an example. Say find convolution of e to the t with sine t. By the definition, convolution of e to the t sine t is integral from 0 to t e to the v sine of t minus v dv. That equals to integral from 0 to t e to the v sine of difference equals to sine of t cosine v minus cosine t sine v dv. Recall a few properties of integrals. Integral of e to the u cosine u du equals to 1/2 e to the u cosine u plus e to the u sine u plus c, and integral of e to the u sine u du equals to 1/2 e to the u sine u minus e to the u cosine u plus c. We call these two integrals. So what we're going to get here is equals, I'm going to break that integral into two integrals. So the first one is going to be e to the v sine t cosine v dv, because sine t has nothing with has no v in it, so we can take sine of t out, and we're going to get integral 0 to t e to the v cosine v dv minus second integral, we're going to get integral 0 to t e to the v cosine t has no v in it, so we can take it outside, so with respect to v it's a constant, sine v dv. Now we're going to get sine of t. Using the formula for cosine, we're going to get times 1/2 e to the v cosine v plus e to the v sine v, and v is changing from 0 to t, minus cosine t times 1/2. We're using a formula for antiderivative of e to the v sine v, this one, so 1/2 e to the v sine v minus e to the v cosine v. V is changing from 0 to t, so we substitute upper bound, substitute lower bound, so we're going to get sine t times 1/2. Substituting t for v, we're going to get e to the t cosine t plus e to the t sine t. Substituting 0 for v, sine of 0 is 0, cosine of 0 is 1, e to the 0 is 1, so we're going to get minus 1 minus cosine t times 1/2. V is changing from t to 0, plug in upper bound, we're going to get e to the t sine t minus e to the t cosine t. Substituting the lower bound, sine of 0 is 0, cosine of 0 is 1, e to the 0 is 1, so minus minus 1, so plus 1. So we're going to get Everywhere we see 1/2, so we'll take 1/2 out. And inside I'm going to get the first amount is going to be e to the t sine t cosine t. Second going to be e to the t sine t times like a sine t, so sine t squared, minus sine t minus e to the t sine t cosine t. That's this guy. Minus give us plus, so e to the t cosine t multiplied by extra cosine t squared minus 1 times cosine t cosine t. Now if you look at that expression, e to the sine t cosine t and minus e to the t cosine t, that will be cancelled out. E to the t and e to the t sine squared and e to the t cosine squared, we will add up to e to the t, and we copy minus sine t minus cosine t, copy 1/2 in front, and that is going to be convolution of e to the t